Hello and welcome to today's The Last Trade Week Ahead video. Now in today's The Last Trade Week Ahead video, we'll be taking a look at a few things. We'll take a look at Bharti Airtel. I'll take a look at it from the perspective of an equity trader, option trader and a futures trader. After which we'll also take a look at gold. I'll take a look at how you should trade a commodity if you're trading it for the short term or you're trading it for the long term. This year it's also at a very critical point. But before we do all of that, let's take a look at the news affecting our markets this week. And this week is going to be pretty heavy on the market in terms of, I think everyone has to do a cautious note, and this is why I'm saying it. Number one, we have two trading holidays this week. We are closed on Tuesday for Mahavir Jayanti and on Friday for Good Friday. So that will make it truncated. Let's say Tuesday's Nifty expiry comes a day early to Monday, and all that becomes a bit clustered. Then also from 1st April 2026, we have major stock market changes coming in. The reforms will impact trading, it will impact margins, it will impact brokers, it will impact mutual funds, it will impact liquidity. For example, intraday traders, we're going to be hit even positional with an SCT increase in F&O. So it's a higher cost per trade. And why I'm specifically saying intraday, because intraday players tend to do more orders. So that is going to, once at the end of the day you see a profit and loss, which the broker send at night, you'll end up seeing that segment has become more costly for you. So you have to make more profit to break even, I would say. Then also there's now a 50-50 margin requirement. I have never been one who trades on margin. I trade fully but a lot of the market traders do play on margin, and they're going to be hit pretty hard, as now brokers must collect 50% margin up front, and they will need to block more cash on clients' accounts, which will basically get a lot of margin calls happening this week. Reduced leverage, basically. Brokers are facing tighter rules on using clients' funds, so that will reduce the leverage exposure they can give to many of the higher profile clients who are getting it. We have new API trading regulations coming in on compliance for algo/API based trading. This will limit on order rates, it will on the modification and cancellation. So this, I believe, will take at least 3 to 4 sessions for algo traders, like even I am doing it partly, is to adjust to the new regulations. Changes in broker and bank funding structure. Mutual fund rules have completely changed. Intraday borrowing rules for mutual funds have also changed. Then the share buybacks tax has been changed. The tax treatment on share buybacks is being revised. So that's going to affect it again. Plus, on top of all of this, we have the RBI has told all the banks to reduce the dollars they're holding to less than $100 million. So we're going to get a bounce in the rupee happening because of that. I think it's a short-term measure. We're going to cause a bounce because of everyone selling dollars in India all of a sudden, but it's not a long-term fix, and RBI is basically putting a patch to fix a big leaking hole. I don't think it will work in the long term, but it's something they're just doing it's a cosmetic change. So all this will be coming into this truncated week, which is already shorter trading. So expect things to be very, very volatile this week. Anyone trading, make sure that you either reduce your volumes or you become very selective of your trades, because if you try to trade with the same volume or the same basically freeness, then you will end up feeling the impact more, because there's going to be sudden spikes due to especially algos having to adjust to the new regulations, and also the STT impact will be there, especially on the futures guys. Option guys is there, but not that bad, but futures is going to be much, much worse. So that's it on the news front. Let's take a look now at Bharti Airtel, and then we'll take a look at gold. Now, Bharti Airtel is one stock I'm covering. Even on Friday, it did not fall, and that was largely due to it being one of the biggest beneficiaries of the MSCI rebalancing which happened. And due to that, Bharti Airtel, everyone knew it's going to happen. So I would say that is why it formed a box range, which is much better, in a much better state than a lot of the other stocks in the market, as a lot of the other stocks have fallen much more than Bharti Airtel has. and one of the reasons is people knew that such things are going to be happening. Now, how should you trade Bharti Airtel going ahead? Now, there are two ways to look at Bharti Airtel. This is number one, it's reached an inflection point where it can give a dead cat bounce, or it can give a fresh fall. This is it's entered a box range and it's trading technically within two box ranges. For the shorter term traders, the box range to focus on is between 1870 and 1806. For the longer term traders, so what I mean basically, the intraday traders look at this more, linked intraday and overnight, and let's say the ones who are holding positions for a week or monthly, that's option sellers, you look at the box range between 1870 and 1770. So this box range, the bigger, is more relevant for option sellers more, and option buyers and futures traders, the smaller box range is more relevant. Now, if it breaks above 1870, it's going to have a dead cat bounce to 1930. If it breaks below 1806, then it will give the short-term option buyers and futures traders a short to 1770, which is box range support. If it breaks 1770, then it has a bigger fall to 1690. Now, reason I also chose to cover Bharti Airtel today is now the MSCI rebalancing I think is done. So now the stock is going to have to start taking on the waves as they come for the whole market. So it's going to be key to see how it handles 1870 and 1770. Within this zone, I would suggest option sellers, this is an absolute no-no. And for option buyers and futures trader within this zone, it's an absolute no-no. Only if it pops up above this or pops below this, then you can put a trade. If you try to put a trade within this zone, then unless you're doing scalping, you're not going to make anything. And also with these new regulations which have just come in, scalping is going to come much harder. So unless you're very, very talented in it, let it either break this or let it break one of these, then you can consider Bharti Airtel for trade. If it goes and has a dead cat bounce, then 1930 and max 2000 is the max ceiling I see for Bharti Airtel, after which it will resume or fall once again. So my trading plan for Bharti Airtel is basically summarized in two things. You can summarize in one sentence: let the box range play out. Once it gets out of the range, then you put your trade in Bharti Airtel in terms of which direction it has taken, and also see how the trend catcher and the volume build-up indicator are doing, as they're going to be very key in the whole picture. Now let's look at gold. Now I'm looking, like in the previous videos of gold, I'm again looking at the international version of gold, not the one which is available on MCX. This is the international one will guide the MCX one, and is naturally better to track for movements because it's open for a longer period. Now, gold has had a good fall in the past few weeks, and this is mainly due to a lot of people having to offload the supplies or positions ahead of gold. This is a lot of investment banks made a lot of money on gold and everything, and now they're taking a lot of beating on other things, so they're closing those profits and using it to free up cash to deal with the losses they're taking in the equity side and all. So that all has caused gold to have a pretty rough time. Now, what is next for this commodity now? According to me, as long as it is below 4650 and above 4100, it's in sort of a situation like what I explained for Bharti Airtel. It's in a box range where it's going to go really nowhere. Within this range is more for intraday traders and maybe overnight traders, like holding for one day. Beyond that, within this zone, you should not consider. A clean long will only appear in gold if it breaks above 4650 or it breaks below 4100. There is a support at 4212, but I'm focusing more on the 4100 one, as these two together form a good support range. So my trading plan for gold, short term, overnight and intraday, between 4650 and 4100, don't hold a bias, trade as the direction comes. Do it pure intraday. Above 4650 is where it can go for a long to 4840 and 4960. Below 4100 it can go to 3940. But my likelihood is how gold is trading, it basically will break a lot of people in this range and then most likely start a climb. And by this range I mean it can test the low of the range even, because the ones who have done my course will understand why I'm saying that specifically. And even so, my trading plan overall for gold, above this and below this I take a directional trade. Between this I only take an intraday trade. If you're trying to do a directional trade within this zone, likelihood of your success is going to be very low. So that's how I look at it. So that's it for Gold Bharti Airtel. I hope all liked the video, and if you did, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.